Can we all start a recording where just one by one introduce ourselves and then to say "Go fuck yourself, J.K. Rowling"? Let's just Ben. Would you like to start?
Hello, it's me, Ben Heath. I got suspended from Twitter today. I got cancelled, but J.K. Rowling, you go fuck yourself.
Hi, I'm Matthew Gilby. J.K. Rowling can go fuck herself and shit.
Jeez.
I'm Gwen Howard. I had to be a raccoon for 5 minutes. J.K. Rowling can go fuck herself.
Go fuck yourself, J.K. Rowling. The raccoon said so, and you've been told.
Yeah, fuck you.
Let's do D&D.
Oh hell yeah,
D&D.
I love D&D.
D&D.
I'm Oliver Ricardo. I had a dream one day. I had a vision that came to me that there are no D&D podcasts. Literally none have been made. And I thought I should fill this niche market of the internet and create one. And I summoned you free communists, to pool your resources together to form the greatest D&D podcast of all time.
And that we shall do.
Hooray.
Yes.
Hell yes.
You've already introduced yourselves very eloquently. Gwen, the crazy one.
Yeah, kablooey.
Yeah,
That's my catchphrase.
That's so rad.
Yeah, kablooey.
We've got Matthew the General.
The General?
The General.
What does that entail?
You're the General.
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 I'm a military leader.
No.
I
No,
committed
No,
war
you're the
crimes.
General.
No, we
No.
don't talk about them on the podcast, Matthew.
you are the general.
You're not allowed.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's against the rules.
forgot.
You gotta say /J afterwards, otherwise no one's gonna get it.
I don't want
I forgot I was told not to bring up all the war crimes before this.
You
I'm
can
so
bring up
sorry.
how cool you were in the war, but not what that entailed.
We can't.
I was
talk
really
about
cool in the war, and I killed many, many bad people.
He only killed bad people.
Yeah, he only
Only
killed bad
bad
people,
people.
so
Only bad
it's
people.
okay.
And of course, there's Ben the Wild. Ben the Wild Card /
And the wild card.
Wicked Witch. So,
What I
Wicked
want to be.
Witch.
Wow.
Now,
Elphaba?
yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Galinda.
Yes, that one.
I'm the third witch.
I was actually the wizard in my college production of Wicked.
Oh.
I was in it for one scene because it was a really cut up version.
And it's me!
And it was really shit.
The
It
wizard!
was me. I was like, yo, I'm the wizard.
The wizard's the main
bitch.
villain.
Yeah,
No,
but like
racism's the main villain.
it's really shit, right? The thing about Dave, the guy who runs my college, right? Back when I was at college. I'm not at college anymore, by the way. I left. I wandered
Why?
into because I don't know. I just became a cowboy and then I just rode off into the sunset.
Pretty good reason.
Yeah, like this town ain't big enough for the two of us, and then I just wandered off. Yeah, Dave makes some really weird decisions. This is a long tangent, but basically, I actually had to fight to get that one scene in because I was like, Dave, like I know we're doing a cut up version of this. We don't have that much time, but we need this scene for the play to make sense. We need the
What?
scene where the wizard
The-
turns
You mean wait?
Elphaba into the Wicked Witch.
Hang
Oh my
on. So
goodness.
let me just break this down. He was like, maybe we shouldn't have the turning point of the main character's story arc.
Yeah.
And then you were like, I think that would be a good idea, actually. He was like, no, I think she just starts making completely different decisions for no reason.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, I had to fight for it, but I did eventually convince him. So I was the wizard for
Oh my
one scene.
god.
We recorded my face going, saying words. I still have it on my Google Drive somewhere. I'm not going to show it to you. I'm not going
I
to
wanna
because
see
it's
you as
really
a
cringe.
wizard.
But just know it does exist.
Oh.
Yeah,
Did you
it's...
have a wizard's hat?
No, I didn't have a wizard's hat. I had like a long coat and goggles.
How are we supposed to know who you
And like
are
a
then?
green bow tie.
It could be anyone.
I could be anyone. And I was...
You have to guess who I am. It's me.
It's me,
You have 10 minutes.
The Riddler.
It's me.
Riddle me this.
TikTok.
Riddle,
Why you
riddle me this, Elphaba.
What is long but short? What is short but long? What is grey but smooth? What am I?
he spends the rest of the day.
Yes,
He's just doing
that was
scary
my
faces.
classic wizard catchphrase. Ah!
I'm still laughing at the. You went, "This town ain't big enough for the two of us," and then you left.
Yeah, wasn't big enough for the two of us. So I like
You're a reasonable person.
Yeah. What can I say? I know what I beat. You know?
Just,
He had.
I'm going to give you personal space. So that
I respect your boundaries,
you just rode off and you're done.
partner.
D&D.
What's
D&D.
It stands for Dungeons and or Dragons.
Wow.
Dungeons.
It's honestly mostly dungeons. There's not that many dragons.
That doesn't
really.
sound very realistic.
The main premise of this D&D plot is that, and I'll sum it up as quickly. There's not a lot of details you need to know. You'll discover that when we do it. You're on a place called Homeland because all of existence, apart from a few like little stragglers, left. Existence just ran away and just left a bunch of people behind. There was just sort of nothing. So everyone who was left took what they had and just built this gigantic ship called Homeland, which is just floating through the void, sort of composed of all these different layers with different things on them. It's this big, horrible machine just sort of flying through space. Not even space,
Wow,
nothing.
I love that.
And that's where you guys live. There are some core details about the world that I feel like there'll be certain details that some characters will know and some others will know. The main stuff to know is that the way the sort of world works, it's governed by a group called the Town Council, who are a bunch of very, very white blonde guys with polo shirts who just sort of exist on top of a big dome. And occasionally you see them, but they're sort of quite reclusive. They have sort of governed for millions of years. No one knows how long. Why would you need to know? They're cool. They're cool. Look at their shirts. They're trustworthy. The sort of general order of the world is that large businesses basically control every single floor of Homeland. The various different sectors and little petri dishes are all controlled by various milk factories, Delaware factories, shoe factories, just general factories. And generally your sort of place, they limit what can be known to the public, what can be given, such as magic. Magic is sort of a luxury. If the more money you have, the more likely you are to learn magic, and you'll sort of be, depending on what you learn, you'll be pushed into a specific job. While poorer people, who maybe can't access any sort of expensive magic schools, are sort of just, they're not abandoned, because what sort of society would abandon its poor? That'd be terrible. That'd be evil. They very kindly let them live under places like Hex and other floors in the Homeland and make them repair stuff so the whole place doesn't die. And that's a sort of... There'll be other details that I'll talk to you maybe a little bit later about the sort of certain factions and their importance in the world. But for now, I want to focus on your sort of characters and the ideas that you possibly have for them. Now, I think I've got one and a half of you. I've got Ben, your character Angus McGuy. Could you give us a brief rundown of Angus's deal?
He inherited a bar from his dad. He runs his life as a bartender. And in his spare time, he practices tinkering and a tiny bit of magic. That's pretty much all he does. He just wipes his bar down and casts a few spells sometimes.
And you are sort of you're a local to where the main setting of the campaign is, Hex.
Yeah, I live in a populated area. I work in a bar, so I know everyone to know. It's all these good times.
We'll get into Angus a little bit later. Now, Gwen, we did did a version of this campaign quite a while ago where you were a Cider Vision officer called Judge Cargan.
That is indeed correct.
Now,
yes.
Would you like to carry on as this character, or would you like to create a new one? 'Cause it's been a long time.
I'm not really sure. I'm thinking about it, right? Judge Cargan, she's basically just like Judge Dredd with psionic abilities, right? She's Judge Anderson and Judge Dredd just kind of slammed into each other. But the thing with Judge Dredd and the judges in that and the Cider Vision, as I'm seeing them, right, they don't really have the capacity to change as people. They're such like rigid in their beliefs. I would struggle to play them in a way that is beneficial to the party while also being accurate to what the Cider Vision is. So while I think Judge Kargan is a cool character, I don't think she would really work.
She's more of a villain.
She's a fascist fucking police brutality with psionic abilities and that whole shit. You know, it's just Dredd. It's just Dredd. Just look at Judge Dredd and go, oh, what if Judge Dredd could read your mind? Or, I don't know, do other things. Yeah. Not good.
Not good.
Not good. Other thing I would say is that I'm not entirely sure what other kind of character I would play is the thing. Like, I have a couple things that I could call upon to make this character. My favorite being just rolling on the Electric Bastion Land failed careers table and seeing what comes up. That's always fun.
You could just get dog.
I could get dog. I could get good dog. I could get pack of urchins. Oh, that was the thing. Ollie, did you have a look at the blog post that I sent you about playing as the extras?
I have not had a look at that yet. I think, was it like you're a pack creature?
You aren't one person at all. Instead, you are playing an indeterminate mob of nameless minor characters who follow the other PCs around. You might be a pirate crew, a band of merry men, a bunch of faceless stormtroopers, or anything else. The two facts remain constant. There are a lot of you, although exactly how many seems to vary from scene to scene, and despite your numbers collectively, you only manage to achieve about as much as each of the main character does individually at best. It's a class for like being all of like the nameless background extras in a movie.
That doesn't seem to make much sense.
Now, okay.
It purposely doesn't. So, it's like that's an idea, but I've got, obviously if you don't think that works, then that's perfectly fine.
Just to say, the Cider Vision, I have taken the Cider Vision, and they are a fully blown faction in the world now. But they will probably be different from what you were imagining them. Like, there's probably going to be a different of how they like operate.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to do Kargan again, my only suggestion is maybe have them be like a rookie cop. So you could still be like, you maybe not be like a good person, but like someone who you could at least talk to.
Yeah, like a Judge Anderson instead of a Dredd.
I was thinking for the the gaggle. The gaggle of people is that a big part of Hex, the sort of the main difference between it and the rest of the world is that it tries to teach magic to people from poorer backgrounds and provide them with an education on magical ability so they can sort of have more freedom in their lives. And there's a lot of like children who get educated at these schools, well, mainly children. So you could be a gaggle of children. Like these guys from Wind Waker?
Or like, or just like the pack of urchins from Electric Bastion Land.
How are they gonna get into my bar?
Stack on top of each other and wear a trench coat.
Yeah, there you go.
Push them over, fall apart.
You can serve juice at your bar.
Yeah, you can serve juice.
Feed them olives.
I could throw juice at children.
Throw olive at children.
The amount of urchins that I'm gonna be playing, I'm gonna be keeping your business afloat. With all the juice I'm going to be drinking.
Ollie's going to kill off a child every two sessions, and he's going to roll perception to see if we notice.
I mean,
They're going to eat the child.
They just die really slowly.
The blog that I got this thing from, to like sort of raise the stakes, just have one or two of these background characters just die in like serious combat or something. Just be like, yeah, this dude just murders two of them. Because why not? Because it's an indeterminate amount of creatures. I really like that on the blog. It has like a bunch of images of like examples. So like you know, Barbossa's crew from Pirates of the Caribbean. We've got Robin Hood with his merry men. We've got, I don't know what that is, stormtroopers. But then the last one is just like a bunch of Muppets on a pirate ship. Just,
Oh, I love Bastion Land.
just,
I love Bastion Land so
I love Electric Bastion Land. It's so good.
Okay, but so Gwen, I think obviously you don't have to go for either of these choices,
Yes.
but I think a gaggle of like a little mini child gang with like
Yeah.
with like maybe just like divide their health for each child.
Yeah. We'll figure something out for 5e rules.
Yeah, your HP is just how many children there are.
And
Yeah.
every time you level up, you get more children.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
what the
yeah,
levels
it's-
represent.
Yeah, it's like you can't really tell exactly how many of them there are, but HP is around about equal to the amount.
You swear
It seems
they're
to change
multiplying,
each fucking
swear they're,
yeah.
like dividing from
Yeah,
each other.
They just deny it.
Sometimes there's like 50 of them. Sometimes there's 12. Sometimes there's like 27. Like you can never really keep count. Sometimes there's just 4. This is for BX D&D, which I think is like basic rule set of like original D&D. So like I'll put some thought grease into turning this into 5e.
That's Gwen. If you're happy for your murder of children,
Yeah.
that's all good.
Or just the proletariat.
The proletariat.
I could just be the proletariat.
the prolo.
The proletariat.
The proletinis.
Yeah,
That's it.
the
The
proles.
As the
proletinis.
cool kids are calling them.
Yeah, we are the proletini. Hey, with the proletinis, hey!
Hey,
How's it going with the proletinis?
you don't sound like
Hey,
children.
Hey,
What's going on here?
I'm
Hey,
I'm 12 years
That's the
old.
children.
Joey
Hey.
Wheeler.
Hey, hey, it's me.
hey,
Yeah,
it's me, Joey Wheeler,
Red Eyes Black Dragon,
Listen,
and my,
my
and
trusty pal.
before we move on to Matthew, I just want to say Jack Black, Oliver's travels, but it's all tiny Joey Wheelers tying him down, and that's all I want to say. That's all I wanna say.
Just a tiny little yeah.
wow,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, Yugi.
Matthew, you had an early idea for a character of a bodyguard, but I think you've changed your
Mhm.
mind from that now.
I don't know. I like that idea now. I want to work for one of the Delawares.
Oh, okay.
And I want to be a monk. And I haven't been a monk like ever before. That should be interesting.
Michael Delaware is a known like hero. Like he's your typical like, haha, fighting for justice. Haha, haha. He's like a classic fantasy protagonist. And Francis Delaware is a shady sort of businessman that no one really knows anything about him. I think if you were to be a bodyguard for one of them, I imagine it would be Francis Delaware.
Which one would you prefer I be a bodyguard of? Because you know what the story's kind of going to be.
I think Francis Delaware is the person you should bodyguard because he is like, he's not someone known for having amazing magical prowess or even that much like combat training. He's like a skinny twig of a man. Your sort of general story of going to Hex is that you know that Francis Delaware is heading up towards Hex, like he's traveling there to make sure his business is all well. You've been chosen because of your physical skills.
Yes. Yes. And also, because of the new rules that you're saying, I want to learn a couple of cantrips.
Also, do you have a name for your character, I will say? You don't need a name straight away.
Well, 2 characters ago, I came up with my character's name on the spot, and it was Tim. So I'll get to thinking
so
about
you're saying
that.
I shouldn't trust you.
That one.
I shouldn't trust you to come up with. Oh, what am I saying? I love Tim.
I mean, you
love Tim
can.
in my campaign. Tim's so good. Matthew, that is what brings me on to something else that's sort of special about this. There are slightly different rules for this campaign. There will be it will mainly be D&D 5e, but just with how certain stuff works. So, like with spells, you can learn almost any spell in this campaign. You have to find the correct information to do so. You can't just like figure it out, but you can learn up to any spell, including Wish.
Wish.
yes.
What's Wish?
God
Give-
spell.
Wish.
give the horde
Oh.
of children meteor swarm. They will use it for good, I swear.
I don't trust that, but I do
Yeah.
trust you. So that I'm sort of stuck.
Yes.
So
Bad idea.
I'm just saying that for these spells, it will take a certain amount of time to learn them. So the higher level the spell, the more like in-game days or weeks it will take to learn. And if you you can, in certain circumstances, learn a spell but be bad at it. So say if you learn Finger of Death, like you've just murdered someone, but now your hand is rotting and it's going to consume your entire body, like that sort of thing.
I
Sort of
love
bad
that.
thing.
Yeah. So is it like you can just, if you roll badly, it might backfire or something?
So like, say if I'm learning a 4th level spell, you've learnt some of the components for it, but you're not incredibly sure. You would essentially be rolling it with like, I might just roll a dice for you, and if something happens, there'll be you cast the spell, but then also this happens, and depending on like the level of the spell, it would either be minor or very severe.
Sort of like a crit fail kind
Yeah.
of deal,
Like,
in a way.
so
Yeah.
what is it like you roll a nat 1 and your leg snaps in twain.
Oh, I love that.
To finish off on the rule stuff, the other rules aren't as intricate. Weapon proficiency is something, it's again, you can learn to be proficient in certain weapons, and if you use a weapon you're not proficient in, there'll be like slight setbacks here with finesse weapons. So like a little very thin little saber, if you're not proficient in it, an enemy could attempt to knock it out your hand, like it slips away from you. And the other this is more of a role play rule. This isn't like to deal with your stats or characters, but it your actions in the various cases, which I'll get into in a minute, will depend on how the people of Hex see you, because Hex is a town that's sort of like divided by people who are there to sort of learn magic, who are from poorer backgrounds, and those who are there to work in these giant like uncaring factories. So they have to put up with a lot. So if in one of these investigations you are being really threatening or killing people, if you are like a sort of generally shitty person in these investigations, that will depend on how certain people interact with you or treat you.
Wow.
Don't be evil and you'll be fine.
Just like in
Who
real
would
life.
possibly make an evil character?
Yeah.
Wink, wink, wink.
That would never happen
That would never happen.
to my character.
Or to my character.
Only Ben is the only one not
Who
making
knows?
evil characters. Very proud of him.
Because you're just like a regular guy, right?
Angus is just a guy.
Just a guy.
Wow.
I-
We're all basically just playing guys, but different ways of playing just guys.
I have a character I never got to play who was just, his name was a guy with our sword, and it was just a dude who had a sword.
Wow.
That's the backup character to Angus. If Angus ever dies horribly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just his cousin
Angus McGuy and Guy
with our sword.
with a sword.
Or Penis Gregorio.
Is he Guy
never...
McGuy with a sword?
Penis Gregorio.
Penis
He can make
Gregorio?
a surprise appearance.
Wow.
Don't talk about Penis Gregorio more than once. We can only bring him up once per episode.
You'll summon him.
It's like Beetlejuice.
We can't afford him more than once per episode. Any more than that, and we go over budget.
Timothy Chalamet gets upset.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim. Anyway.
Thanks, Tim. You should read the sponsor reel before we carry on.
Oh yeah, this episode's sponsored by Timothy Chalamet.
Wonka 2023.
Wonka 2023 is going to be a
Wonka
big
and
one.
origin story.
We're really excited for the colonialism plot. Now, I want to. There's sort of one. There's a lot of little things I want to talk about. But the main thing is that you might have noticed when I was talking earlier about how you shouldn't kill people because it'll make you look bad. I said investigations because this campaign is a murder mystery, and there'll be various little murder mysteries as the campaign progresses, with some sort of overarching story going on in the background. I just wanted to talk about how you want to do this, because obviously classic murder mystery. You find clues, you interrogate people, and you figure out who the killer is, or like who committed a crime. Doesn't have to necessarily be a murder. And then you obviously confront them and deliver some kind of justice or injustice. I don't know. And the main question I want to ask is, how do you want to do the whole? I know who the killer is. Do you want to do it as in like a Poirot, where everyone gets brought into a room?
That would be pretty funny, actually.
Ace Attorney, where they just show up.
They are just already there.
Every episode, it's just one of the members of the proletariat.
Why do we keep bringing these guys around with us?
Always killing people.
The proletariat.
Tweenies?
No, not the tweenies.
Or can we have it so it's like a running joke that like one of the proletariat is like a red herring? Everyone always thinks it's like
one brandishing
it's
Oh, it must be one of the poor people. They always do crime, right?
That guy's name is Murder
I wonder why.
Stabbington.
Well, who's going to juice
I
character
bet it
called
was
Joanne?
red herring. Can we just what one of the proletinis is just red herring from the fucking Up Named Scooby Doo? It's just red herring from Up Named Scooby Doo.
Can you put Scrappy Doo in the campaign?
Would you want red herring to be the? I know this is like a joke, a semi joke. Would you want red herring to be like the voice of the group? If there is to be a voice?
No, I think it's just like there's just every episode it's just like I bet it was red herring, and then it's a completely different guy, but it's from the group. Like I bet it was this. I don't know, because like again, I'm going by the blog as I keep saying, but like the main guy at level 1 is called Sarge, and then every next level, each new person has different name. Maybe like there is one of them, or maybe like at level 2 we get red herring, and
I'm fine.
I don't know. We can work on this joke. We can work on this joke later. I'm saying words out of my ass.
I can imagine the general investigation will be either together or like splitting up. You will like search for clues to catch whoever did the misdeed.
Yes.
Either working with the police or definitely not working with the police, because as Angus knows, they suck. They all suck in Hex. They are terrible.
And as the proletinis know, they suck.
There's
because
4 police officers and they all
we're
suck.
We're the proletinis.
How many people are in Hex, by the way?
4.
I will get to that because that's one of the little details.
At least
I just want to establish how you
at
handle.
Least D12 plus 6.
I want to handle how you want to confront the killer. How would you what do you want it to look like? What, because when the actual recording begins, I don't want to be like, oh, are we just gonna go meet the guy? We're just gonna go up to him and say you did it by.
I like the idea of setting a really complicated trap, and then him just falling into it.
So you're talking about Scooby-Doo?
Yeah,
you're talking about a Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
I am talking about Scooby-Doo. That wasn't a genuine suggestion.
Yeah,
that wasn't a genuine suggestion.
I do like the Poirot approach, where he fucks everyone off and then eventually just goes, oh yeah, also you're the killer. Lol.
I want one of us to go, and just another thing, and then a little ding goes off, and we explain to the killer how we did it.
The truth revealed starts playing.
Obviously, there'll be different times for different investigations, but when it is like a cut and dry, oh, there is a murderer, you've got to figure out who it is. Like you can obviously confront it that way, and like for catching the killer, if you have a specific strategy. To keep a little bit of a mystery element, tell me or message me beforehand, and we can obviously like play that out. But or just talk about it, and then I'll cut it from the episode so it looks like it's a secret.
Yeah, one of us just goes secret time, secret time, secret
and then
time,
everyone else talks whilst the other person carries on chanting.
We go secret time, secret time, secret time. Then you have to cut the next section out of the audio. No matter what happens, no matter what comes up, even if it's like the final boss
you
fight.
can't
If we go
edit it back
secret
in.
time, secret time, secret time,
Everything after that's just gone forever, and you can't do anything about it.
it's all over. No more.
Now, so okay. So just a Poirot-esque confrontation with the suspects and the killer, exposing them. You can, I will say, you can. You hopefully the clues will be clear enough that you can figure out who it is. But I am
really
Yeah,
stupid.
good point. What if we get the wrong person? Will we just not know?
Yeah.
Well, then
we just
the killer jumps up and goes, you were wrong, Shane! Then he runs out.
You get -2 points. I
Never
suppose
seen again.
if you like, because you could just be awful people and just accuse someone randomly and frame them. You know, like.
That would be pretty funny if we could do that.
That would make you
But
villains.
Yeah.
If
Like,
we
in
can't
the
figure
eyes
it
I
of-
out,
like
I'm
that
just going to
idea.
choose
But-
one of the children instead.
but every time their name is Red Herring.
In the eyes
I want
of,
Red Herring
in the eyes of the world, you
from
would be
a pup named
villains,
Scooby Doo.
and there would be consequences if the killer like succeeds or is not caught. If there might be some like hand of God from me. If I feel like
Hand of God pointing a big finger at
fucking
someone.
him,
Yeah,
fucking
like
him.
like
Fucking idiots!
just the God hand from Inazuma 11. Just
Yeah, that's when we get it wrong. God himself comes and he crushes the killer.
yeah.
Punches
It's you have Master Hand and Crazy Hand. They just point and they go him.
That guy,
Ganondorf.
Austin Powers.
Groovy baby.
Sam's Undertale.
Anyway, I feel like just to sort of alleviate some of my stress from like, oh, you guys have just completely accused the wrong person. Not all of the cases will involve, oh, you've got to figure out from X group of people. Sometimes there will just be you've got to you know generally what the killer is or who they are, but you've just got to find them or hunt them down somehow. Just sort of moving on because I think we've sort of established what's going on. Just mainly little things now. I just sort of want to go through what Hex looks like and some of the people that you will know of. You know what I mean. Podcasting.
Yeah, podcasting.
Podcast. This is a podcast distributed by Rusty. No, I can't say that.
The Magnus Archive. It's a podcast
It's
distributed
not.
by Rusty Quill. It is licensed
not.
under a Creative Commons
Beep.
non-contribute share alike 4.0.
I'll say that.
Anyway.
Maybe
It's illegal.
it's
Tom Sims is
illegal
gonna sue me.
crimes.
Because of how the world works, Hex is quite unique with how it tries to teach magic people who generally couldn't access it before. But it's still under the thumb of some very large organizations. What are these organizations, you might ask?
What are these organizations?
Gwen, I'm trying to speak. Just interrupt. How dare
sorry,
you? How dare you? You know
I'm
What's your
sorry.
problem?
You know what? I'm getting in someone else. I'm calling in Crombloss. And Crombloss.
Oh no, not Cromloss. I'm sorry. I
You
didn't...
can't do this every time, Ollie.
The main organizations that have power in Hex is the Delaware Factory Construction Factory, which constructs things. No one knows quite what. All you know is either a weapons factory or like a protection agency or both. It's very only the people who really work there know what's going on and what's being made. It's supposed to be for fighting injustice and aberrations, whatever that means. And the other large organization is the Milton Milk Factory, run by Jared Milton. I don't think many of you would be familiar with the Milk Factory, but I feel like Angus specifically, you would have heard rumors about Jared Milton and what he gets
Jared
up to.
Milton.
Like some strange rumors about him whispering to milk and convening with it. But
I am the milkman. My
Yeah.
milk is delicious.
It's delicious.
Special delivery
Yes.
today.
It is creature milk.
Isn't regular milk creature milk?
no.
The best
no.
kind.
Anyway, the reason these organizations have such sway is that the Delaware Factory brings in certain people with magical potential to sort of give them like weapons training and kind of use them as advertising, and also they do weapons separate to that aren't connected to magic users. And the Milk Factory has so much power because it's a job that requires no magical capabilities. You can just sort of work there as an ordinary job. Everything you do know about it, the little you do know, is avoid Jared Milton. Just do not get into contact with Jared Milton.
Hang on. Like, I'm little magical, but not very. So why would they hire me as like a main bodyguard person?
You don't know the specifics. I'm going to say your character doesn't know, but like Francis Delaware was looking at a pile of CVs and was like, oh, this one will do. And he invited you. And now you serve as his protection.
Ah. Okay.
That
But I'm
explains
still
why...
his individual person, though, right?
Hmm?
Or like, am I part of a group of bodyguards?
You're an individual person. You've been selected by Francis Delaware. You've gone through...
Yeah.
Or maybe not even Francis Delaware. Maybe just like his like assistant has gone through and thought, oh, this person looks promising. You don't know the specifics of the process, but you have been selected.
Okay, but can I have, like, still gained his trust over a while, though?
Oh, you have gained it. You've definitely had meetings with Francis and gotten to know him. They have been, like...
Yeah.
There haven't been many, but they've been enough that you can sort of... You have, like, a little bit of a dynamic, a relationship of, like, some sort of trust.
Kiss a little.
You do kiss a little. Hey, you want to kiss the milkman? Or the non-milkman? I'm fine with it.
Robotnik and Agent Stone.
Oh god, they should kiss. They need to kiss.
They were an inch away from kissing.
They didn't. Gwen, have you seen the Sonic movie
No,
too?
I haven't.
No spoilers.
I need
for
to.
it.
I didn't know it was
Really
out.
disappointing.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say
It
that.
was
I'm really looking
really
forward to
good,
it.
and I loved
Oh,
it.
no. Apart from one moment, and you'll know what I mean, it's very good.
Does Sonic floss twice again?
Eggman
No.
flosses, though.
Eggman.
Oh, what?
Eggman does
Eggman
one.
Oh.
flosses
I'll
He does
allow it.
for 10 minutes. It gets really
Oh,
boring after a while.
it's why the film is like 4 hours long.
It is better than
yeah.
the first one, I think.
Oh,
It's better than
good.
the first
It's
one.
about the same.
Oh,
No,
hell yeah.
it's better. The ending's cooler stuff in it.
Listen, you crazy kooks, you. The other sort of core places you'll be visiting is sort of the maintenance zone, which is I think where Angus you get a lot of your customers from, just people who seemingly work underneath the very many floors. Basically, every single floor of the homeland and Hex included is like a petri dish, a very large flat petri dish, and you mainly just get people from the maintenance zone who come into your bar after a long day's work, just sort of fixing pipes and just sort of like trying to get over some of the more serious effects of literally living under loads of machinery. Then there is the cauldron, which is sort of the educational hub, which is only somewhat infected by massive corporations and their various goals. There's the House of Isaac, home to a dragonborn called Hordo, who sort of is the main teacher of Hex, who mainly specifically teaches children, because he feels like they have the most potential to learn magic, because most of the people who are adults now have sort of lost interest and feel like that they can't really do it anymore. Hordo is an old man, and he's always been old. Ever since, even when you were young, he was old. He's one of those people. One of those
I see.
people.
He drinks Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Solely drinks bourbon. He's one of those people.
Jack Daniels is what he drinks.
Jack Daniels. You're right. Jack Daniels will take us down violently.
The other sort of main locations there is a massive like miniature farm. It's not owned by a big company, but it does produce some of the sort of more. It's like one of the only local businesses there. And you don't really Angus, because Angus, you're going to know a lot of these people, but you don't really know the people who live there because you've heard the owner is a tad bigoted, just very generally unpleasant to be around. Your dad always called him a massive fucking wanker, but he said it in a polite way.
That sounds like my dad. Angus's dad's called Chad McGuy, by the way.
I see.
Chad McGuy.
God love Chad.
The other sort of local businesses is run by a lady called Clarissa, who functions it like sort of creates pottery that's only partially living. You don't know the ethics of making living items to sell to people, because they do lose their sentience as they are born and created and molded. This is accepted, kind of. You do know of them, and I think all of you would probably know of the sort of the various orphans who sort of they're not even orphans, just people from the like children from the maintenance zone who sort of just go around the place doing stuff. just doing their thing.
Yes.
Matthew, your character would be familiar with
Mhm.
as a bodyguard, you would probably be familiar with the police force because you might even give some advice to them on when Francis Delaware arrives in Hex. There's Gunter, the chief of police, who's this nervous man who's always sweating and is very uncomfortable to be around. An energetic lady called Barb Impaler seems fine. There's a really scummy guy in his 20s. You don't even know his name, but he's like the worst person you've ever met. He's just the shittiest cop and shittiest, but he's just a garbage human being who's just not good to be around. And
Just like real life.
And then there's also a sort of a very like larger, very like sort of heavy-set individual who you don't know the name of, who has their face covered at all times and never speaks and seems to be wearing some sort of army's uniform. They don't really fit in with the rest of the police there.
I see.
And I imagine that the Prolatinis would have like they sort of, I think they would mainly just know Hordo and Clarissa because they are two senior members of the community who are focused in teaching magic. But the Prolatinis don't really care for anyone else because they are a horde of children.
I imagine that the Prolatinis would probably be like in the maintenance zone, but like mainly from there. Like they just sort of be working on pipes and other such things. They're very sort of hands-on. Yeah, they seem to like go from job to job to job. Sometimes you see them in like sort of classic sort of Victorian sort of chimney sweep or oil governor kind of thing. Next thing they're all in chef's hats and cooking stuff in a big old pot like Kirby, and next thing they've all got little Sherlock hats and pipes and little magnifying glasses.
They all look like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Looking around.
Tiny Benedict Cumberbatches.
They're all addicted to different types of amphetamines.
Oh no.
Opioids. That's the one. They're all addicted to different types of opioids.
And the one other person of sort of note to discuss is a mind flayer who recently purchased a library. No one really goes into it much. I think Angus and the Prolatinis. And I also actually know what, everyone would be familiar with this person because to you, Matthew, they are a security threat. Mind flayers are not trusted. They don't appear to be connected to a hive mind of any kind. Angus, you've heard rumors about this person. You don't know who they are. You just know their name is Monroe, and they mainly just hang out in the library.
Very
and occasionally they're seen wandering around at night, but who knows? And Prolatinis, I imagine.
Spooky.
I imagine you'd be very curious because I don't think you would have seen a mind flayer before. You just know like of the stories of what they are. I imagine they just sort of be like bedtime monsters. You don't know anything about his intentions, what he wants. He just owns this library and appeared one day. That's sort of all the...
Oh, hell yeah.
There are other details I want to sort of go into. They aren't incredibly important, and I'd probably save them for the actual main recording of this. Is there any questions you guys have about the world or any details you want to know?
What's like the sort of technology level of this place? Because I know there's like
good
pipes
question.
and it's a big old spaceship, but is it like generic sort of fantasy? Is there guns? Is there what's a funny thing I can say? Guillotines, wink wink, nudge nudge.
Lynch your leaders,
please.
Lynch him good.
Yes, lynch all of them.
For me, it's mainly constructed out of like pipes and occasional like gears. The general technology feels like a heightened Victorian. It's not steampunk, but it's not just basic Victorian. And weaponry varies from being like a revolver, an old-timey revolver, to like if you are working for the Cider Vision, or a faction in the world, you've got very modern weaponry, or at least very alien-looking weaponry.
Ah, I see. Cool.
So a middle.
So big old ranger stuff.
So I have a few questions about like general things about the setting.
Oh, sure.
Firstly, so Hex is the only place that we know of, right?
So Angus McGuy, you have lived in. I imagine you've lived in Hex most of your life. Well, that's up to you though. For the Prolatinis, I sort of imagine you either live in Hex or you move around a lot. That you've been from place to place. That's up to you, though.
Yeah.
Matthew, as a bodyguard, you have been tasked with going to Hex in preparation for Francis Delaware's incoming visit to the factory.
Okay, so second question.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what's the nature of Hex? Because I know you said this before, but, like, how big is it? Would we know where we are? You said that, like, the rest of reality just left for some reason.
Oh, no. Wait, no.
How would that manifest?
So let me explain that again. Is that some unknown date at some unknown time, existence, leaving behind quite a few stragglers and like a bit of technology, existence just sort of ran away, and the people built a gigantic space station to sort of house people, and it's comprised of various floors. There are more floors than Hex. Hex is just one of many floors.
Okay.
It's all connected by big elevators,
Is it like
big industrial elevators.
Is it like, and this is an absolutely horrible reference, but like, you know how, this is real cringe, but you know how in Sword Art Online, right?
Oh no.
Like, you have like level 1 thing, and it's like
Get out.
a whole world, and then above that is like level 2. I know it's a bad reference, and I'm not comparing the quality of the world building and shit to Sword Art Online. It's so much better than Sword Art Online already. But
I do think I kind of understand from that explanation now.
Yeah.
But
gotta cut out all the incest now. My
no!
Ruined.
So how many people live in Hex? Is it larger than London, for example?
See, Hex is quite like a. It's just like a big circle. Again, like sort of a petri dish. I imagine roughly 600 plus people live there.
600. That's not many.
People are mainly spread out because
all right.
All the floors in total.
Pretty sure the population of Wells is more than that.
Hang on.
Not even as big as Wells.
I'm gonna look up how many people live in Yeovil. Oh wait, how many people live in Wells?
There's like 12 or 13,000.
I thought you were going to say there's 12 or 13 people.
Yeah. Yeah, 12,000.
There is at least 12 or 13 people living in Wales currently.
That I know of.
Yeah.
I do have a law.
Yeovil is
4,080 something.
45,000.
Yeah.
784.
The law
apparently.
explanation for why there's not many people in Hex is that it's these elevators.
Shut up.
What?
I could just have that
The law
as a reason, to be honest.
The law explanation is shh. This is my world.
Shut up.
My
Shut up.
explanation is
Shut up! I worked really hard. Distraction!
You're throwing your hands in our face.
The law explanation is that because everything is labeled, like elevators are usually labeled with like their buttons have numbers on them. The system of like buttons, of like numbers with buttons. So people are looking for the floor number for Hex. They're not going to find it. They're like, fuck, just label it normally. They've labeled it like since it's labeled differently. People have been struggling to find it. They just sort of avoid it. So they can't figure out where Hex is, but a lot of people have, and then they just go there.
That's I love that.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's like weird bureaucracy kind of thing. So
Yeah.
there really are just like half the number of the smallest city in England people living there.
The main reason why, like, again, Angus would and the Prolatinis would probably know this, that the school there is going in decline, not only because of like being generally having a large influence from the Delaware Corporation, but also people just can't find Hex. They just don't know. Some people just don't know where it is, and they're trying to go to it, but it's like, fuck. Okay, I just go home. What was your next question? Sorry.
Oh, also, first thing, I looked up the smallest countries by population, and the smallest population country is Vatican City with 800 people, which is more than 600.
Wow.
Liechtenstein is 38,000. Monaco is 39,000. Yeah, and that's where the list I've seen without clicking on the link ends. Second thing, so you said reality left. How would that manifest itself?
So
what happened?
You live.
Would we remember that?
You are all. I'm assuming you're all, apart from the Proletinis, who have I'm assuming like a collective, like a sort of a general age amongst them all. Sort of like an average age. Are you all going to be in like your 20s? Specifically, Ben and Matthew. Like 20s.
Angus is 26.
Probably. Yeah, I'll be about that.
And he's 5'10".
You have only known the homeland, the sort of the world that you inhabit. You've always lived on a specific floor, traveled between other floors. You've never seen outside of this place.
Okay.
The specifics.
No windows.
The specifics of how reality left are purposely vague because, shut up. But
okay, fair enough.
It grew legs and walked away.
That's one of the.
Because my next question would be: was it within last generation?
No, it was.
Or how many generations ago? But never mind then.
Years ago, it's lots of.
It was billions. No one remembers. No one wrote it down.
No one looked outside. Lots of people.
No one's noticed yet.
Was paying attention.
Oh shit! Where are we? Huh? Crazy.
There's a big plot twist halfway through the campaign where Matt's character looks out the window and goes, "Ah!"
Wait, we're in space?
People generally theorize that outside of Homeland is just a black void. Some people are a bit more hopeful that there's just color out there. There's just a single color, like the color yellow. Also, detail about the world is that people guess that Homeland is shaped like a sphere, but they don't know. They just don't know.
No one's checked.
No one can look outside. The people are just sort of like, it's probably a sphere. I used to live on a sphere. I think people used to live on spheres. So
yeah, probably.
There is a very small faction who believe it's shaped like an hourglass. They cause some
I wonder, Ollie, you don't have to answer this, but is this the kind of thing where we might learn more details about this? Or not, like over the course of the story.
The second he thinks of some, yes.
I do.
Okay.
I do know.
Okay, I was just wondering what the plan was.
Because
I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued.
Matthew, I will say the story at the moment, while having quite big stakes, is not like world ending. You will never.
Okay.
Currently, at the moment, you won't be in a world ending situation. As you learn more about the various people who inhabit your homeland and the world, you might come to some discoveries. I think this is a thing stolen from Terry Pratchett that I'm about to say. Like, some people have like thrown themselves outside occasionally to see what the world looks like, and they've never come back.
Oh, yeah, they do that.
I think that's stolen from Terry Pratchett. But
Terry Pratchett's a great thing to steal from, though.
He's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good.
I really need to get into Terry Pratchett. I haven't actually gotten around to it yet.
He's wrote like 1 million books.
Yeah, I do have a physical version of The Color of Magic, I think, but I have ADHD, so reading is hard, and I need to get through my current audiobook.
Monstrous Regiment
before I can get a new one.
Is a trans story.
Oh. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I will read that or listen to it. Do something.
There's only a few more things I really want to just sort of say, because I've written a couple of factions for the world. Not even, like, some of them aren't even factions, some of them are like extensions of certain ones, but they have their own goals and agendas, mainly. There is the town council, obviously, who are just sort of You've never seen them. You just know the basic description: white, blonde, polo shirt, very smiley.
Oh.
I see. I don't know why I'm imagining the guy who played Javelin in the Suicide Squad. Just that guy.
Is that Rami Malek?
I don't know.
Yes, put him in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not the guy. But also yes.
Get the
I do
really over the top Swedish man.
I agree. They are that blonde. They are as blonde as that guy.
Yes. Yeah.
There's the Cider Vision, obviously, which are the police, but they focus on psionic policing. Their main objective, as known to all of you guys, is to combat the Mind Flayer incursion. Because Mind Flayers are generally hated throughout the entire world because they are seen as, like, people snatchers who eat brains and want to control you. So there's been many, many fights and wars between the various hives scattered throughout the world.
Wow.
I sort of... How educated you guys think... I don't think the Proletinis would know many, but Matthew and Ben, how educated do you think you would be on, like, various, like, religious or just, like, political groups?
It depends how many would come into the bar, to be honest.
It depends how much I would need to know for my job.
That's actually true.
Like, I don't think I'd have much interest outside of that, but...
I think you would mainly know... You would know about the Cider Vision and what they are. That you know the basics of them. They are psionic policing. They sort of... They exist... They used to be, like, just a small part of the police, but they've grown in recent years to sort of become their own division. You obviously know about the council because Francis Delaware is in direct contact with them. They commune on various businessy things. And there are some other small ones. The only one I think you would really know about are called the Elves of the Aberration, known as, like, a terrorist group of elves who've sort of apparently given in to, like, known as body, like, deformation. They've surrendered themselves to creatures like beholders, like, and become strange and dark, and they're generally not to be trusted. They're a low security threat, but, like, you've been told that if you know someone who is part of this group, that you are to report them immediately, or, if capable, physically apprehend them.
Ah, I see.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much it. That's all the things I really want to talk to you guys about.
Cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
You might have to remind me about
there's
some of those.
On the Discord server I'm on.
A lot of this.
Yeah.
I'm not even here, so you'll have to tell me when we actually start the...
Yeah, of course.
I actually, like, died 20 years ago. You'll have to, like...
Avenge you?
Remind me when I've
I'm
recovered.
gonna have to dig you up.
There is a section on this server called The World. And I will add to that. Also, hopefully, I will edit this recording down, make it a little bit shorter, because I think it's coming up to, like, 2 hours.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but some of that's about J.K. Rowling, so
that needs to stay in.
That
The
needs to be
beginning
kept in.
Needs to be stay
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, well, we introduced ourselves. So.
Yeah. Can you just completely remove me from the recording so I don't have to listen to myself?
Neither of us are going to be in there. It's just going to be Matt and Ollie.
We'll just take long pauses as you speak, and there's like, yeah, no, that's really interesting. Anyway, we'll sort of...
Just take Matt out. Do you have any questions? Well, it's funny you should ask.
The only other thing, the list is literally the last detail, and then we will say our goodbyes. There is a Hitman index that you... you all know about this list that sort of popped up a while ago. And it's a list of various hitmen who operate in Hex, or have been known to mainly, like, go around Hex.
Why there's such a small population?
That's why. That's why all the hitmen.
I love the Spaghetti
Yeah.
Man and Human Grease.
Human Grease is my favourite.
One of these is just the houses of the victims have just been cleaned
Yeah.
for no apparent reason.
To go through them, there is Toothpick, steals people's teeth, has a purple eye, missing index finger. Rat King.
Is he blue?
No, he's got white hair. Oh no, he's not who you're not. He's not Onion Man. He's not canon in my universe. But Davros is.
That's so sad.
Okay.
Davros, famous Doctor Who character, is canon.
My favorite.
I can't wait to find him covered in cobwebs
and resurrect. You offer him a jelly baby, like slaps out your hand. There's the Rat King. That's pretty self-explanatory, and what that entails and how he kills people. There's a guy called Cliff, and no one knows how he kills people. He's just called Cliff. His calling card is leaving various notes which says, "Hi, it's Cliff. Hey, Cliff here. Cliff was here."
Wow.
There's the Burrow.
I love him.
Who kills people via spontaneous combustion.
Wow.
The Ruin, who causes complete decay of a person over the course of 4 days. The Meat Grinder just rips you to pieces and eviscerates you. Spaghetti Man, mind control and suffocation. Human Grease, greases victims, like greases the various things like a victim would touch hoping they slip and die, and then leaves a poem at the scene of the crime. And then there is a Scatterbrain, who kills people via mental shutdown.
Wow.
Why do all these people have calling cards?
Some of them don't.
Because they're hitmen.
That would
They're
make them
It's called
easier to...
It's called advertising, Matt.
Yeah.
To be honest,
that would make them easier.
Matthew, in your training, in your training, like you have been definitely told about these hitmen, and they're sort of you're kind of shocked about how easy they are to access and sort of find, but literally no one is concerned about them. They're like, these guys are far too niche to cause any real damage. Like, just kill people with a gun and get it over with. Don't be clever. Like...
Okay.
And that is it. That is
wow.
the end.
I love the end.
My
favorite. Good campaign, guys.
I hope you guys learned a lot, and I think the moral of the story and we did it.
It's fuck turfs, I believe.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. I love it.
I'm gonna
fuck you,
J.K.
Thanks, Timothy Chalamet.
Thanks, Timothy Chalamet. Fuck you, J.K. Rowling.
Thank you, Timothy Chalamet.
Those are the morals.
We will have some discussion, obviously, about character stuff and any world stuff that you might have to ask. But then we will begin with our beginning episode. It will begin.
Wow. Are we going to like roll up characters and stuff on like recorded, or are we going to do that
we'll do that.
Oh, I've already made Angus's character sheet.
We'll do that separately.
Okay.
That's gonna be off screen.
Cool. None of that messing around with rolling hit dice and stuff. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, everyone, say your goodbyes.
Yeah.
Say goodbye, everyone.
It's me.
Goodbye,
Ben Heath.
everyone.
Fuck J.K. Rowling.
Goodbye, everyone.
Fuck J.K. Rowling.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Fuck you, J.K. Rowling.